Greetings, everybody. This is FitSpaz Recovery. I'm Paul, the producer. I'm your host. I'm here to help you get fit, stay healthy, and stay sober. So, what's going on? All right, I will begin as I usually do. I kind of have a pattern of things, and there is one thing I certainly want to talk about today that I was thinking about beforehand. But let me begin first by just updating you on my workout regimen and all that. It's going seemingly very well. I'm still in the second month of this program, 22-minute hardcore, and I'm on the I'm on the 6th week, so I have a little over 2 weeks left, about 2.5 weeks, and it is a bear. It's kicking my butt, but I keep getting up and I keep doing those workouts every single day. Not easy, but it is worth it. And amazingly, since I started this program, since I came home from Nashville at the end of July, I've really improved my nutrition. I cut out all extra gratuitous snacks. I have cut down on sweets and carbs like there's no tomorrow. Very few snacks involving carbs. Very few desserts with sugar because I don't want to boost that insulin, which causes the body to retain more fat. So as a consequence of changing these fitness habits, I've certainly dropped some weight. A lot of it, most of which I think is coming off around my belly. And I can't see my abs yet, but certainly I've dropped about 9 pounds. 9 to 10 pounds, give or take a little bit. And that's a little fascinating to me. I'm sure a little bit of that is muscle weight, which is tragic. I don't want to ever lose any muscles, but fortunately the workouts I am doing, parts of them will maintain my muscle mass even though I'm not lifting the heavy weights. I think I'm getting I have a feeling like I'm a little more chiseled than I was, and with the less body fat, my muscles feel a little more pronounced to me. But I remember feeling this is crazy. For me, the skinny guy, everybody always telling me I'm skinny all my life. When I was in Nashville at the end of July, I was about 180 pounds, and there was a lot more fat mass on my body, and I was literally I saw a couple pictures where my belly was just like, and I felt fat. And something about seeing myself in those photos made me want to I knew I was coming back from Nashville and starting 22-minute hardcore, and I thought, this is time for me to lean down a little bit, to cut the fat off my body. So I did. And I'm pleased to say I've lost about 9 pounds. I've continued my dance routine on Tuesday or Wednesday night. It's varied depending on plans. I knew tonight that I have parent-teacher conferences at my daughter's school. And I don't know if you call it parent-teacher conferences, because that's when you go and sit down with the teacher one-on-one. It's some kind of parent night there. And I like to stay active in that so that they know I'm a fully engaged parent and my daughter's education is important to me. So I'm going to that tonight, and as a consequence, I did my dance routine last night. I'm on the last routine in this whole program size, and I've done it 6 times. It's called Living in the Eights. And next week will be my finale. And I filmed myself starting last week. I filmed myself last night, and I'll film myself next week. And it was an interesting observation. So last week was the first time I started watching myself in the mirror, because when I'm learning it, I have to watch what they're doing on the TV screen so that I know I'm getting the moves right. But as the moves have begun to sunk in, I watch myself in the mirror and I get a good perspective of what I'm doing, but not everything. So the mirror has this illusion of, hey, I'm doing this. This is cool. I'm doing a good job. And last week, when I was watching the video, I was like, oh, I have my mouth gaping open like this. Ah, and it's really annoying to me. So this week, I was more aware of that, and certainly there were some improvements, okay? At the end of the routine, because of the way they build up from beginning to end, you don't quite get the same amount of practice for the end moves as you do the beginning moves, because there's more repetition with the beginning moves because they're at the start and you repeat those and then start over and build on it. So you get more repetition with the moves that are at the beginning of the routine. And so the end ones are still throwing me for a loop. And finally this week, there were a couple things they feel like they set in. But as I watched the video this week from last night, I realized there was still an improvement between last week and this week. For one thing, because I was aware of my mouth gaping open, so I was keeping my mouth shut. And in addition, what I was doing was paying very close attention to, I want to smile. I want to seem happy when I do this. And I think that helps the overall mood and execution and stuff. And on top of that, let's see, what was I going to say? You know, foggy stoner brain. Gee whiz. It was about, so certain moves, I notice I have to over accentuate some things to get the full feeling of the move. My style, in my opinion, can improve if I over accentuate certain moves. And seeing it in the video is distinctly informing compared to just seeing myself in the mirror and not having to concentrate on the moves, but seeing myself in a video and reflecting on it. So there are moments where I'm like, oh yeah, I can improve that. And little things are improving, like where my hands are, what they're doing, whether I'm clasping them shut in a grip or being wide open. And so little things like that are still improving week to week on this program. All 6 times, I have noticed just a tiny bit of improvement from the time before. And that's the real joy of why I do this. So last week will be the last. It will be the last repetition of this routine, and I'll be like, yay, I finished size. Finally. I've been looking for that ending. I've been looking for that finish. The last week has been very unique for another reason, which I think I talked about a little bit in last week's podcast. It's that I've still been doing this thing called a rejection challenge, and I have gone through several things. I won't be posting them all in this particular video at the end because there's so many videos it would take like half an hour now. I think it's up to near 20 or 30 minutes if you were to put all these videos together and watch them. So they're on YouTube if you want to see them. They're also at FitSpaz.com. I've been thinking of various challenges to test myself and to expose myself to discomfort, and that's been a very good experiment. So I've done things like the first day, as I might have told you last week, was asking a couple ladies for $10 in the library. I also went up to a dude in the supermarket and asked him to have a staring contest with me, which he did. A couple days ago, I asked the train conductor of the children's train at the mall when my daughter and I were riding in there to let me drive it. And I got a no, but it was fun, and this video had some character, so check those things out. I also went to the library with a witch's hat and gave out free apples to people. Hey, I was like, hey stranger, you want an apple? And I got 10 rejections and 5 yeses, and that was a very interesting experience. Another day was, my daughter saw the witch video when I went to the library, so she was really adamant about wanting to do this, and so I took her to the park to basically do the same thing. She gave away a couple apples, and she was shy and she was distracted by playing, but that wound up being a pretty good video too. One of my favorites from the week was I got an idea to go to the supermarket and ask if I could speak over their intercom so that I could tell my daughter I love her over the intercom. So I went to one supermarket, they said no. I followed up at another supermarket, they said yes. And so check out that video. That was another one of my favorites because and just the way it all played out, the way I cut the video, and the way the lesson of my daughter is sometimes we're told no in life, and it doesn't mean we recoil and get freaked out. We got to go back and try again, and people for different reasons will say yes, and you can't take it personally when you hear a no. So this has been a character building exercise, but I really want to do some challenges where I am forced out of my comfort zone with the things I feel like I need the most in life. One of those things is picking up women, okay? I kind of feel like once the ice is broken, I can have conversations with women and do a relatively good job with that game. And not a game in a superficial sense, a game like just building up my character and my confidence to do that and have some success with it. So you're going to get a lot of rejection from women, and I don't think I'd want to be with with women who have a superficial, mean, cold-hearted response anyway. So just sifting through women, trying to find a good mate to eventually be with somebody. But because I think we achieve our greatest potential in life when we have a spouse who lifts us up, and we do the same for them, hopefully, in an ideal relationship to help make them better. We are made better. I mean, because being with somebody, I want to raise the bar on myself to do better. And so, yeah, the other has to do with business stuff, which I'm not going to get too into, but pursuing those things in business that will have reap the greatest reward in the future. And so that's my rejection challenge. I'm doing that. I welcome anyone to send me feedback or suggestions about how you liked those videos, or how I might be able to help you by pursuing a certain challenge. Or by all means, if you think it inspires you, do your own rejection challenge. I was inspired to do this by a guy named, I think it's pronounced Jia Zhang, I think. But I'm anglicizing it. But let me tell you, he's a really nice guy. I watched a lecture by him on YouTube the other night that he did for Google. And reading his book is what inspired me to start doing this. So check out his book, Rejection Proof, if you find this interesting. I don't have that book here in front of me right now. I usually have the books to show you. But check that out. It's available on Amazon. I don't think there's a soft cover. There's only a hardcover, and it's $17. But it's been a worthwhile read. And I want to give him credit, because I'm not just copying him to be like, hey, I originated this idea. No, it's like I'm doing it because I want the personal benefit out of the rejections. I want to vanquish the feeling of rejection that I have for all kinds of things. And with the silly stuff, I can see myself feeling comfortable doing silly stuff, getting a good video. But I really want to pursue the things that are like my own personal demons, getting over those things. Like I said, picking up women being a big one. Going out and seeking rejection to build my business, but also build my fitness team, Team FitSpaz. I want people on board with me. I'm like, I'm going on this journey, and I'm hell-bent, and I'm building systems, and I would like to say to people, come with me on this journey so we wind up in the same place, and we can be very thrilled with that. And if not, it's okay. If you just want to watch, you will be left behind, but you can always join in later. You're always welcome to. So send feedback to paul@fitspaz.com. Comment below this video on YouTube. Comment below the little segments I post on Facebook, which those seem to do really well. And we're to the next part of this podcast today, and it was something I was thinking about. Boy, I'm 13 minutes in, and I feel like, whoa, my brain's on fire. I want to talk about, actually, why for wanting to be sober. It is a constant, never-ending process, a never-ending journey. And it has to do with a great many things, of which I will try and talk about now. My why for wanting to be sober is a great many things. When I was getting high all the time, I was waking up in the morning, and within 10 to 15 minutes, my mind was in a neurotic, negative spin. I'm not kidding, just mad at everything in my life that had ever been wrong. A whole bunch of people, I was mad at them, yelling out loud in my house at people who weren't even there. And so my mood was severely compromised. I've often said this. If you were like a fly on the wall, you'd be like, wow, this guy is angry. And it was a morning pattern. I'd get high, thinking that would be like something that would calm me down. Just the opposite. In 10 minutes, I was just ruminating, yelling at this person, that person. It has helped me. So cleaning up has helped me have a much more peaceful morning, having a whole new routine with the meditation, with the prayer, with the exercise in the morning. And I do not have mornings like that at all, and it's such a relief. So that's part of why, okay? So giving it up to develop a whole peaceful outlook on life. And it's helped me in so many ways. Like, for example, taking responsibility for things, even where I know other people wronged me, taking responsibility for it in a way that has been character building, and I've experienced a lot of personal growth, and I've been able to let go of a lot of things so that they're not at the forefront of my mind. And if I start digging into them, I can start to feel irritated, but it was nothing like when I was smoking. So the predominant reasons why I quit drinking, there's a lot to this, okay? So stick with me. Drinking, when I would go out and tie one on, I did not like my mood and behavior that resulted, okay? So my problem with drinking is not that I devolve into a dysfunctional mess when I'm drunk, and I might even go out and have a good time. I had a pretty good time the last time I got drunk. It was subsequently the few days after where I call it sledgehammer brain, and my mood is just in a pit of darkness, and I hate that feeling. I'm tired of that feeling. Plus, you know, I call it like what you do in the shadows. I don't like my behavior when I'm drunk. If I'm drunk out on my own, I don't trust myself. I trust myself when I'm with other people, and I don't even want to get into what that means exactly. I shouldn't be drinking and driving, for one thing. I'll admit that to you guys. That was a frequent consequence of my going out and getting drunk, driving back all the way from Denver. And most of the times I might maybe inappropriately say, I think I could handle it, but was I over the legal limit? Probably. A couple times was I so sloshed that it was a very irresponsible, immoral thing to do? Absolutely. I confess that to you guys. I'm just a lucky, lucky guy who did some very stupid things. I'm not proud of those things, and I'm not bragging either. I'm not like, I did that. It was wild stuff, and I'm not proud of it. So the other reason I quit drinking, okay, aside from what I just told you, and I'm getting to more reasons for both as I go along. I kind of have a pattern in my head. I want to go down this path. Drinking, okay, I consider alcohol to be the ultimate gateway drug. So if I smoke pot, it actually makes me go, okay, I'm high. I don't need anything else. This is it. I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else. I don't consider it a gateway drug per se, at least not in my life. I can't speak for other people. It's not a gateway drug in my life. And I don't think it's also the danger driving that getting drunk is. But notwithstanding those just brief political statements about drinking, when I drink, when I call it the ultimate gateway drug, it means that it will make me want to do a whole myriad of things. I mean, including smoke pot. So if I decided if I want to be successful at smoking pot, at quitting and really keeping myself on the right path, I have to give serious consideration to quitting drinking. And it's sad for me because I want to drink wine. I used to go over, have a glass of wine at dinner at my parents', but even though I like the taste of wine, there's always that part of me, that addictive nature, that where it's about getting the buzz. It's about getting the buzz on. Even if it's one glass, it's like, ooh, I feel that and I like that, and that buzz is a total trigger for me to want to go and smoke marijuana. So there was a conscious, deliberate choice to quit drinking because I wanted to have success at quitting smoking marijuana. And there are all kinds of reasons I'm sad to quit drinking. It calmed me down. It was a thing for my social behavior where I go into a situation, having a drink is an automatic way to calm me down and get me talking to people at ease. And so this is where the rejection challenge will come in handy, because I'm not relying now on alcohol. I'm just going in and learning how to socialize. As an adult, I think it's set me back quite a bit, having a drink every time I go into a social situation, even at a time when I might have a responsibility coming up the next day and I don't want to tie one on and have a hangover because I perform at such a low level. So anyway, I decided to quit drinking. It was my sister's birthday in December of 2015 when I last drank and got drunk. And I remember, I think it was a Tuesday night or something. The following Thursday, I was just in a world of darkness, and I was standing in the shower when I came to this decision that I want to try and quit again. And that same year, I had 10 months completely without getting high on marijuana, but I hadn't quit drinking. I would go over to my parents' house, have 1, 2, 3, 4 glasses of wine, I could see that behavior increase as I was trying to cope with not smoking. So I decided I'm going to cut it all out. And I went to a birthday party at a holiday party on like Christmas Eve possibly or something at my sister's house. And it was a real challenge not to drink. I mean, it was really pulling on me. And I can tell that temptation has diminished, thank goodness. And so that gives you an eye-in of why I decided to quit drinking. It's not that I can't not drink, but I feel that pull. The more I indulge, that pull becomes stronger, and you're like, where's my beer? Where's my shot? And so, but when you don't feed the demon atrophies. Doesn't totally go away, but it atrophies. And so I haven't wanted to have a drink since then. There were moments when I was really tempted to have a drink. I recall one moment, like a couple summers ago, where I was like madly, or it was like the summer of 2000. This was 2016. It was the summer 2015. And so, what am I talking about? 2015. So I told you it was my sister's birthday, 2015. It was 2014. And because we're into 2016 now. And in the summer of 2015, I had a real tempting moment when I got put on the spot. It was like the biggest trigger to drink I've had. And I'm not going to get into that story. I'll tell that story another time, because this is about why my complex, long, overly analyzed why I wanted to quit smoking and drinking and all drugs altogether. So I think we're doing ourselves a disservice when we drink. It obfuscates our personal judgment, and it blurs our personality. It compromises our character because of the nature of the drug. So I wanted it out of my life. And here's one part I haven't gotten to yet. Because of it being a parent, I'm at a stage in my life where I have a young daughter. I don't want her to witness the change in me mentally and even physically, stumbling around like a dodo. And so I just decided I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to model that behavior. I don't want her to grow up and think it's okay to do it because I did it. It's not. I've partied too hard. I did too much of this stuff. I was overly indulgent for a while. And so as a parent, it's really important for me to model good behavior. And I don't want her to grow into the same behaviors myself. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that maybe someday she'll just be like, you know what, I don't really want that. She might go through phases of stuff, but hopefully she'll get on track like a lot of people do. So being a parent is a big part of all of this. And I could have like said that at the beginning, because it's like very profound, the extent to which that's an actual reason why I don't want to drink. So for her, absolutely, she's in there and it's relevant to me, and you know, just all of it, all of what I just said. And so as a parent, I'm a better parent because my mood is so much more even keel. I know I'm more patient. I know I've changed so much just in virtue of getting sober that it's going to mean some good things when I get into a relationship, and the relationship is a lucid one where I don't have those habits of still indulging in these things. Because I don't think, look, our potential with all kinds of things, I think, is diminished when we're in a messed up state. And I don't know what it is. If I get high or drunk, sometimes there's some great creative inspiration there. And so there's this trade-off. You trade off your mood, your focus, but there's some kind of creative allure to getting messed up. And how am I going to write? But I've found that I can pick up the guitar now and I can still come up with something creative, just like I did before. And there goes the TV again. This thing, I don't understand this thing. I gotta check the timer on that makes that go into sleep mode or something. But so all these things, I was saying I can still be creative, and I realize it. The creativity's still there, but the purpose in my life has changed. So where I was doing that kind of creative thing when I was younger, I have a different idea of what I want out of life, and it has to do with success in business and success and growth socially, helping other people, and meeting a spouse and traveling, and not needing the crutch. So it's going to be a challenge for me when I go to Europe soon here, and I'm around Italian guys who are definitely going to be like, you want a drink? And I'll be like, no. And they're like, are you sure? Are you sure? You're on vacation. You're on holiday. You've got to have this. You have to enjoy yourself. It's like, whoa, the peer pressure there is insane. So that'll be interesting. That's going to be a change. And my dad's going to be around me drinking, and Laura, my sister, will probably be drinking. And so that's going to be novel, going to Italy, not smoking anything, not drinking anything. And I am going to do some workouts from there. I plan to climb up this mountain, do a medieval castle, and document that experience a little bit. I plan to be doing some workouts when I get there to finish up this current group I'm in called a health bet. Get my payday from the health bet. And so that's pretty much it. I told you guys a lot of why. I'm sure there's more why I could think of. I like that I'm get in my car, I don't have THC in my blood or alcohol in my blood, and I'm not nervous about if I get pulled over by a cop. Still, if I drive to Texas, I'm afraid to get pulled over because they'll be like, you're from Colorado, dude, and we pull you over, and we see in our database here, even though it's technically illegal for us to have this information, that you used to have the medical card, so you're a suspect and we're going to search you. So I'm still afraid of that, even though, but that's digressing. In general, you know, what I'm hoping is if I'm respectful and I explain to them how, yeah, I haven't done any of that for years, they'll just take me at face value and everything will be okay. But that's a little bit on the xenophobic side of Paul, being afraid to venture out for fear of silly trouble made up. Like, I never mind. When I was giving apples away in the library, I was afraid of somebody being so appalled or offended that I was doing that they would call the police or something. And that's how my mind gets a little carried away in awkward situations. But so I'm going to start wrapping this up. And I want to tell you guys, so check out my rejection challenge videos. They're actually pretty well cut. They tell a good story, each one of them. Maybe they'll inspire you to go out and vanquish your anxiety with rejection. And so, onward and upward with life. I want to remind everybody, you can check out FitSpaz.com. You can also like my page on Facebook by just searching FitSpaz, FITSPAZ. Subscribe to watch the videos in iTunes. They're also available with a tab I installed on the Facebook page. There are a million ways you can check them out. But I want to thank Kevin MacLeod for providing the very awesome musical backdrop to this show. That guy's awesome. And you can go to incompetech.com to find out more about him. I'm Paul the producer. Let me know if I'm doing a good job. Send me feedback to paul@fitspaz.com. Gosh, my brain is warmed up. I'm just like, bibbity bap, and now I gotta end it. This is in like, if I had a regular radio show, I would just be like, this is time to take a break, 4-minute break, and come back with this ultra super warmed up mind. I'm doing a great job. See those curves on my chest? I feel good. I feel like I look good. I feel like I feel good. Still got to go to the chiropractor. In any case, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you guys all have a very nice week. I will be coming back at you with one of these in a week. But if you want to follow, if you want to like my like page, I'm doing live broadcasts on there every morning. And so you might get something out of that too. Everybody, have a nice week, and I will talk to you later.